I feel like in the last 5 seconds of that video, we need to change it to where something more is happening on screen to go along with music there. It feels like I'm kind of hanging for a second there. So just a note to Kaylee and to myself to look into that later. But anyway, hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Josh Blaylock. I am our host today, as per usual. And I am joined by a very cool presenter, Mr. Ben Harvie. We are going to be talking a little bit more on the audio side for Jabra today, which we typically linger on the video side quite a bit. But today we're changing gears, talking audio, talking AI software. It's going to be a cool conversation. Ben's going to get us caught up there. Before we jump to that, we'll go through our typical string of housekeeping things here. There's not a lot, right? But as some of you are aware, but probably most of you, this is an unwebinar. And by unwebinar, we mean for it to be more engaging, right? We don't want it to feel like a typical webinar. We don't want you to feel like you're just sitting there consuming content from us. We want you to feel like you are hanging out, having a conversation, asking questions. If you're comfortable, we have these unrules of engagement here. If you're comfortable with it, turn the cameras on. We want to see you face-to-face. If you're comfortable with that, to be able to have that face-to-face conversation. Your mic will stay muted, but if you want to ask a question, interrupt during the flow, make smart aleck comments at me, whatever the case may be, just raise your hand. We will unmute you, and you can then ask the question or make the comment or give feedback, whatever that way. But of course, we'll be keeping an eye on chat and the Q&A app because once in a while, some people aren't able to chat for some reason, so they will plop something into the Q&A. But we'll watch all three areas there, so raise hand, chat, Q&A, and of course, turn on that camera if you're comfortable with it. And last but not least, we do a giveaway each time. And given that today's topic is along the lines of EngageAI, the software that we're going to be diving into, and we talked about it almost a year ago now. I think it was in April of last year. We figured it would be good to pair an Engage 55 headset with that topic, and of course, bundle that with a PanaCast 20. But the way that works, for those that are kind of new to the program, we don't do the giveaway on the call. We use the attendance data after the call to randomly select someone, and then we will reach out to you via the email that you registered with. So if you used a burner email, watch it, right? Because that's where we're going to communicate with you for, hey, you won. So thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to go beyond registration and actually show up and hang out with us today. That's it. That's it for the rules here. Now, the topic of the day, ClearSpeech, EngageAI, and your contact center. And this topic was made a while ago, so it may be some or all or a little bit of any of that, but Ben will guide us through what we need to know in that whole area there. But unpacking meaningful features and value, and of course, some demo is going to show us some things in real time, how it works, which is always useful. Before we get there, last reminder, this is the QR code to go to the landing page for Technically Speaking, which is very easy, jabra.com/technically speaking. That is where you will want to keep bookmarked because all of our upcoming events for the next few months are there. You can see what's coming up. You can get registered ahead of time, add it to the calendar. And of course, if you miss any episodes, we have all of our previous episodes there as well to go back and watch. So yeah, that page is there. Please go bookmark it. And with that, I'm going to stop presenting. I almost clicked end event. That would not be good for mid-webinar. So stop sharing. Ben, welcome. Awesome. And thank you for presenting today. Please take it away.
Thank you very much, Josh. I appreciate it. So thank you very much. I'm going to actually do a little housekeeping myself. So I am going to present this in outline mode. You can see it now. I know this isn't the most professional way to do a PowerPoint presentation, but the reason that I do it this way is so that you can see this little widget down in the right-hand corner working in real time. If I were to do it in presentation mode, PowerPoint would overlay it and you wouldn't be able to see it. But this is really what we're talking about right here, is this little widget. It can be maximized, and I'll maximize it a little bit deeper into presentation so you can see some more detail. But what we are presenting, again, first and foremost, my name is Ben Harvie. I represent Jabra EngageAI, our software platform for Jabra. I cover all of North America. And in a nutshell, what we're going to be presenting today is software that we designed for the contact center. Jabra's been in the contact center since the very beginning of the invention of the contact center, and we recognized a gap in the majority of contact center software. So we have developed a product in-house that we're very proud to present. Now, I know some of you may have seen this already. It has been on the market primarily in Europe for a couple of years, but we've added a new feature to it as of September of last year that I would like to show you. So most of you are very familiar with Jabra. I won't spend any time on this slide, but these are some of the milestones of Jabra. We're 150 plus years old now. And so, you know, we created Bluetooth back in the year 2000, developed the first dual connectivity headset. I remember that would have been back around 06, 07, you know, a number of milestones, but this is the one that we're going to focus on right here, Jabra EngageAI. So this is my favorite slide of the entire deck. There are approximately 15 million contact center agents worldwide, and just a hair under half of them wear a Jabra headset. So that's how dedicated Jabra is to the contact center business. It's really our core focus. This is, you know, what we do very, very well. And again, just to remind you, if anyone does have any questions, do not hesitate to interrupt me. I know I can speak fairly quickly, and you may actually see my software tell me to slow down in real time, but definitely do not hesitate to answer any questions mid-presentation. You do not need to wait until the end. But this is the gist of our software. So what we've recognized as being a problem, and we know is a problem, is that the majority of contact centers today use speech-to-text sentiment analysis. So what that means is that their contact center software is converting the speech to text into a paragraph, and then an AI bot or an algorithm is then going in after the fact, looking at that text and giving the call a grade, say out of 10. Now, what we've recognized, and anybody that has been in a contact center and recognizes that that software does not work well. In fact, all companies, every make and model of it, it just doesn't work well. It gives false positives and false negatives all day long. The reason for that being is that you can say the same paragraph 5 or 6 different ways using your tone of voice to give it a completely different meaning. So what we've done is we've done away with the speech to text analytics. Everybody can do that. We know it doesn't work well. And we've replaced it with tone of voice sentiment analysis. So what this software is doing down in the bottom right corner of my screen is it is listening to my tone of voice. Okay, so we know, and I have a slide later that shows you 55% of a conversation is body language. So I'm on video right now. You can see my hands flailing. You can see that I'm in a good mood and I'm happy to be here. Unfortunately, in a contact center, the vast majority of contact centers, there is no video. There's no desktop video. So we don't get that 55% of body language. Then we rely on the other 2 metrics. One of them is words. Only 7% of a conversation is words. The other 38% of a conversation is your tone of voice. And what that means really is that you can say the same sentence 2 different ways and have it mean 2 things. It's not unlike sending a friend of yours a text message where you mean it to be sarcastic, and in your head you're writing it in a sort of a funny, sarcastic way. But when they get it, just based on the mood or where they are, the context, they read it in a different tone of voice and take it seriously and completely miss the meaning of the text. That's exactly what this software is designed to do. So on the top, you'll see the advisor. That's me on the right-hand side. You can see my customized avatar. I'm getting an 8.0 score, which is good score for me. I can get about as high as 8.2, 8.3. And on the bottom is the customer. You'll notice the difference between the advisor and the customer is that this software was designed to be motivational for contact center agents. Okay, so we want the contact center agent to love this software, to treat it like it is a coach in their corner and not another big brother supervisory tool. Now, it does have some very powerful supervisory metrics that I'll show you in a sec, but that's why you'll see that we go very positive, only down to normal for the advisor. We'll never go into negative because we want to keep this positive. We want to keep it as a coach. It's encouraging them to become more self-aware, especially at the end of a long shift where they've been on the phones all day. Alternatively, on the customer side of things, you'll see that we will take it to the negative. We don't have any control over the customer's sentiment. That's they have an ownership. What we are trying to do is if they do come into the yellow, we're trying to convert them to gray, to light green, and ideally up to dark green. And so we're taking a negative interaction, ideally trying to convert it into a positive interaction. So how are we doing this? We are taking real-time data. So we are listening to every word that the agent says in real time. When the soft phone kicks in, so does our software. When the soft phone ends the call, as does our software. Okay, so it follows the audio card. It sits on the user's PC for privacy reasons. So it is a tiny desktop application that sits on the user's PC. The only thing that pings the cloud ever is the supervisory dashboard, which is all just metadata, ones and zeros, no privacy issues at all, as well as user authentication, so an email and a password. Here's the core of what we're listening to, especially the first 4 bullets. So we're listening to monotony, speaking rate fast or slow. Again, I often will get a little pop-up that says, Ben, speaking a bit fast. It's because I've always looking at the bottom corner of my screen and the time and being aware of time. I don't want to ever take anyone over time. So that's really why I speak a bit too fast. Interruptions, that's another big one, and long pauses, long awkward pauses. So you'll see if I stop talking. So I'll do it here, and maybe we can make it work. So let me just pause for 5 seconds, see if we can get the software to recognize that. You can see it switched to long pause. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to maximize this, and I'm going to let you look at it. So here's the call. Now this isn't ideal because this is a one-way presentation, and you can see I'm the only one speaking. So the 7.8 would have been from Josh when Josh was speaking at the beginning of the presentation. Josh got a 7.8. Again, a good score. You'll also notice that there's a little refresh button under the avatar. So you can refresh the avatar and click through it. There's hundreds of them, and make it look as close to Josh's appearance as you want if you choose to. But here's really what we're measuring. You'll see there's no words. It's just these green dashes. So these circles are interruptions or awkward pauses. But ideally, this is a very good call. My baseline voice would be about a 7, so I've got an uplift of 1. This is a score out of 10. Very, very rare to get above 9, but fairly easy to go down into the 4s and 3s. If you're angry, if you're agitated, it will very, very quickly recognize that. So why is this important, and why is this different than speech to text? Again, it can pick up things like sarcasm. It doesn't care about your accent. In fact, it doesn't even care what language you're speaking. Tone of voice is universal, cross-culturally, every corner of the globe. With the exception, right, we are having trouble with one particular language, and that's Irish English. For some reason, Irish English always scores high, even when they're angry. We're working on adjusting that. But for the rest, Spanish, French, German, Danish, you name it, it works very well. Now, I'm just going to minimize this again so you can see my slide. So these are the 4 main things we're listening to, as well as your overall tone of voice. The next 3 are very important as well, but they're dependent on wearing a particular type of headset. So again, we recognize the need here at Jabra that headsets need to be more than 2 speakers and a microphone. What we did a number of years ago, probably 2 or 3 years ago now, is we've embedded a chip into our Jabra Engage 50 Mark II and our Engage 40 contact center headsets. These are our premium top of the line contact center headsets. What does that mean? Why should I care about that? What that means is that there is a small chip inside the speaker of the headset that is now feeding data to whatever application can consume that data. So most of that will be third-party data, third-party applications. Some of them, companies like a company called Operata and Nectar, what they do with the data is they can monitor your network from beginning to end, whereas you used to lose visibility at the PC. So similar to the way that we once had an IP phone on our desk and an IT administrator could see the path right to the IT phone, or to the edge as they call it. Once the IP phone went away, and I point because I have one here still for some reason, but we lost visibility. Now, by adding a chipset to our headsets, we can see it right to the end of the headset. And anyone who has worked in the contact center will know how many calls a help desk gets blaming their headset for sound quality issues, when in fact it is very rarely the headset causing the issue. They certainly have audio quality issues somewhere, but it's, unless the headset's in 2 pieces, it's very rare that the headset is causing the issue. Although because it's the piece that we touch and hold and we feel on our heads, it always gets the blame. So by providing this telemetry data to third-party networking software, we can eliminate that need from the help desk and eliminate that particular ticket, saving them considerable time. Again, not really what we're talking about here today, but I just want to mention that that is why the next 3 metrics, the mute on and off, the background noise, and the microphone position, we can also gather that data if you're wearing the proper headset, namely those 2 at the bottom, okay? Because it's dependent upon the telemetry being sent from the headset to the network. And again, the bottom three, live notifications, you saw a mini one there with my long pause, tone trends, and achievements. These are random. They don't, I can't control them, but you may in fact see a pop-up come up here and say, hey, Ben, best call of the day, or Ben, you've had 3 great calls today, or what have you. It's all gamified. So what I'm going to do here really quickly is I'm going to stop sharing my screen just so you can see this video clearly. And I'm going to present through PowerPoint. Just give me 1 sec here, folks. Bear with me. And I'm going to show you a quick marketing video. It's 2 minutes long, but it's just going to speed this process way up. And you should be able, hopefully can hear this. Audio, Josh?
I'm not hearing it. I'm not sure if, yep, we got the people who are giving a thumbs up. So I guess I'm all by myself.
Okay, I'm going to keep playing it. Hopefully you guys can hear it. No audio.
I see what they did in there where they said it with EngageAI always in your corner. That was clever. It's always right down there in the corner. Yeah.
So yeah, that's you know, in a nutshell, a marketing video of essentially what the first portion of this software does. And like I said, it's broken into 2, so I'll get into that more. But here again, this is measuring what matters. Here's 55% body language, can't do it in a contact center, 38% tone, 7% words. We're focused on that yellow portion of this graph, okay? That 38%, we are trying to measure that. So here again, this is really summarizing the first portion of the software. Tone is richer than text. We've seen it. You can see it working in real time down here. I'm now sitting at an 8. Josh still sitting at a 7.8. Here's the badging opportunities that we give, you know, congratulations. This is things that anybody, you know, under 40 loves the gamification of anything. Anybody that uses Snapchat, it's all about streaks and gamification. Here's the supervisory dashboard. I'm going to show you that in a sec. And this is something that we actually discovered kind of accidentally, taking the guesswork out of quality assurance. So again, anyone that's been familiar with a contact center, working in a contact center, knows that often after a call, a post-call survey will be sent out to give you a customer satisfaction score. I started my sales career in a Xerox call center many years ago, and I can remember answering the phone randomly and getting an angry customer that I hate on for Xerox, and you can appreciate how many people don't like Xerox. And knowing I was going to get a 1 out of 5, no matter what I said, no matter how professional I was, and I was compensated on these scores. And it was one of the most frustrating parts of my job, knowing that I was going to be penalized for just luck of the draw and getting an angry customer on the other end of the line that came looking for a fight and was going to pick a fight and was going to leave mad, no matter what I said. And so now you can use EngageAI to cross-reference low customer satisfaction score with a tone sentiment score. And you can see, hey, you know, that customer called in angry. They stayed at a 3 the entire call. The agent stayed at an 8. So he or she did exactly what we've trained them and paid them to do, but they were not able to take a negative interaction and turn it into a positive interaction, even though they did what they were supposed to do. Let's cancel out that CSAT score for them and keep them happy. So again, real-time prompts, live tone indicator, and a gamified experience. That's what really keeps it fun. So what I'll do is I'm just going to flip over to the supervisory dashboard. So this is a cloud-based supervisory dashboard that you can access anywhere. Very, very secure. So some of the KPIs are going to be in duplicate to many contact centers. All contact centers already know how many calls an agent takes. Most of them would have, you know, handle resolution and these KPIs. But this is what makes us unique over here on the right. Talk time analysis, okay, as it pertains to your tone of voice only. So you can see here at this contact center, 2% very positive, 83% positive tone, and 15% good tone. Again, we don't dip into the negative, but I think we can all agree that the 15% needs to become light green. Okay, so we want to make, ideally we want no gray. Again, this is kind of dummy data that was pulled from the Jabra call center, so don't read too much into this data. It's really just for demonstration purposes. Again, you can see busiest hour and all this. Again, you can see calls. We have a heat map here, call duration, again, a heat map. Here's where we want to focus. This is what makes us unique, advisor tone. So you can look at the heat map and you can see here at the Jabra Contact Center, for whatever reason, the highest score of the week was 7.9 Wednesday afternoon at 3 p.m. Okay, so that is when our contact center internally, a very small contact center, mind you, is running at peak efficiency. And alternatively, you know, you can see the 7.2 that's on the same day at 8 a.m. where it's running at its poorest. So What we can't do is tell you why that's happening, but we can give you the information to tell you that it is happening and exactly when it's happening for you to then take that information and try and figure out what's happening at that time of the day, at that time of the week that makes us work a little bit better. And alternatively, the 7.2, why on Wednesday mornings are we not coming ready for work and being happy? Now, again, you look at this one here, it's pretty good. Anything that's gray just indicates there's not enough data to give an accurate score. That's what the gray means. And again, here's your customer tone. You can do the same thing. You can figure out when are my customers happiest and when are they least happy. And then you can staff appropriately, perhaps put more experienced contact center agents on the floor when you see the trends where, customer sentiment is a little lower than normal. And again, it gives you these columns are all totally customizable. Again, these are dummy names, obviously. Bilbo doesn't work for Jabra, but you can see exactly how your agents are performing. You'll know with pinpoint accuracy exactly who your top agent is and who your agents who need additional coaching are within about 4 weeks of using the software. So I'm just going to flip back over to my deck here. Again, touching on this very quickly, Advisor Lifeguard, again, it came from Workers' Council in Germany, a customer of ours that said, this is what we're using it for, to protect our agent from low customer satisfaction scores when they don't deserve to get those scores. Because we know that agent experience, customer experience has been a thing for 20 years. Agent experience is the new big thing. And what that really pertains to is trying to lower attrition rates in contact centers. Some large BPOs in the world lose as much as 50% of their agents annually. So you can appreciate the cost of retraining and ramping up these employees. They want to do what they can to make a contact center job more of a career and less of a transactional job. And they want to incentivize their customer care agents to stick around longer than a year, and create it as and give it the appearance of being, a valuable career. And that's what our software does. Here are the outcomes of the software in the first couple of years. So we've proven on a number of accounts that we can reduce we can increase the customer satisfaction score of up to 20%. We can reduce the average handling time. Now that's going to come primarily from the software I'm about to show you in a second. 70% of agents are more motivated at work, and certainly 85% of supervisors feel more connected. This is how it operates, okay? I know this is a technically speaking webinar. This is about as technical as this presentation is going to get. But certainly if you have any technical questions, you can ask them. And if I can answer them, I'll answer them now. If not, I'll circle back with you with a software engineer answer. So audio stream, local PC sits on the thing. We're a Danish company, so we're very, very careful with privacy due to the European regulations that we're bound by. The dashboard and the user management is in the Jabra cloud. Again, it's GDPR compliant and it uses Microsoft Azure. And the agent has personal control. They can turn it on and off. We can deactivate that if you want to, but we do give them out of the box the opportunity to turn it on and off if they have a personal call, what have you. And the last thing that I want to tell you about with regards to this is that the supervisors can also get pop-up notifications on their desktop. And the reason they would get a pop-up would be, if someone had taken 3 bad calls in a row, so that they could shoot them an IM and say, hey, see, you're having a rough day on the phones. Are you okay? Do you want to talk about it? Do you want to have an unscheduled 15-minute break? We can see that. The same thing for praise. You can also get prompt and it says, hey, Josh just had 4 great calls in a row. Pat him on the back, send him a message. And so that, again, that's very customizable, but what that's doing is it's connecting the supervisor to the agent that doesn't really seem like Big Brother, okay? It's not, there's a million different applications already on a contact center supervisor's desktop that, spies on their agents. It's just the reality of a contact center. That's not what this was designed for. It's a very powerful monitoring tool, but again, it's designed to motivate our agents to become more self-aware. So the second piece of software built in and included in the price of this, again, this is a subscription-based software that's sold per agent per month, is how it's built. I should have said that at the very beginning because that always comes up. That's how it's priced. Is ClearSpeech. So some of you on the call may be familiar with a product called Crisp. So Crisp is a competitor to ours rather, but we've introduced Jabra ClearSpeech. So Those of you who are familiar with Jabra know that Jabra has excellent noise canceling microphones on our headset. We have had very good control of canceling background noise for probably 25 years or so. And that is using technology in the hardware itself. What we've never had any control over is the incoming audio. So if someone is calling from a roadside or an airport with the loudspeaker going, or a crummy Bluetooth speaker in a car, the agent has a difficult time hearing them. And what that means is that they have to repeat themselves over and over and over again. So one of our main customers that we have permission to tell you about is MasterCard. And MasterCard uses this software because you can appreciate every time a customer calls into MasterCard, they have to transcribe their 16-digit MasterCard number. And the amount of repetition that is required in the run of a day at a MasterCard contact center is off the charts, because all you need to do is get one of those digits wrong and you start from scratch. So anybody that's calling from a noisy environment, they have a hard time doing it. And then that first call resolution time goes way up. So what we've done is developed through our sister company, SteelSeries, is digital speech enhancement. So I will do a quick demo. Again, I hope the audio works. It should. It's just going to be through here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you a couple sound clips, and I'm going to toggle ClearSpeech on and off so you can hear the difference. So I'm going to start with the Apollo launch back in 1968. This is audio that's familiar to most of us. I'm going to start it with ClearSpeech off. I'll play it for 5-10 seconds, then I'll turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, and you'll get the gist of it.
Mark, T-minus 45, and Gene Cernan made that final guidance alignment. That's the last action taken by the crew aboard the space vehicle. Now approaching the half-minute mark. T-minus 33.
Turn it off again.
T-minus 30 seconds, and continuing on now. Continuing on.
All right, let's do one more. Let's do Crying Baby. I'll start with it off. You'll hear the baby, and then I'll turn it on, and the baby all but disappears.
My name is Jeanette. My mother and I have an appointment with Dr. Johnson this Friday at Rosemary Clinic at 1 o'clock. Unfortunately, due to an unexpected business trip, I won't be able to make it.
So this is now giving us control of both the incoming audio and the outgoing audio to give a crystal clear level of communication between the agent and the customer on every call. So not only are we digitally canceling out non-human, well, in this case with the baby, I guess it is human, but a voice that's not detected to be the primary voice, we're canceling it out digitally, as well as any fuzz and any background noise. We are also giving the voice a slight amplification to make it a little bit more pronounced and boosted. And so this is included in the suite. Yep, go ahead.
Would this work for like when my my stepfather feels the need to butt in on conversations I'm having with my mom on the side? Would that like kind of clear him up?
That might be beyond the limits of this technology, Josh. I don't know.
Okay. Just check.
That's a therapist, I think, is what you need.
Gotcha. Okay. That's
no, but it you know what, Josh, in all honesty, in all seriousness, it should. If he is in the background and he is yelling into the microphone, it should detect that is not the primary speaker, and it will, in most cases, cancel out the majority of what he's saying.
I think
we're doing a real demo. Is impressive. Very impressive. It really does work really, really well. It's very, very impressive. Certainly, you work for the company. You can download a demo. I would encourage you to do it. And so, anyways, I am almost done. So really, that's it. So I'm going to play you another audio clip here really quick just to demonstrate the software. This here is a customer calling from the roadside. This happens all the time. In fact, one of our biggest opportunities right now is a company that takes only roadside calls. They do roadside assistance, that kind of thing. So pretty much 100% of the calls come into their contact center are someone stranded on a roadside with cars going by them. So this is someone calling from a roadside, a lady, and I'll play you the raw audio. I'll play you the clean audio. I'll give you a snapshot of what's coming down the road, and I'll get out of your hair. So here we go.
Yes, ma'am. I got a little brochure in the mail for this week for
all right, I won't play that too long for you, but here's it cleaned up digitally through ClearSpeech.
Yes, ma'am. I got a little brochure in the mail for this week for consultation, I guess you might say.
Okay, so I won't play that. It's long. I won't play it, but you get it. You can see here, the noise in the yellow down below. It's all gone, so it cancels out all the noise digitally using software. It seems like a very simple thing to do. My understanding is it took years of development to develop this technology. That was very, very complicated to do. And again, it was done through our sister company, SteelSeries. Is a gaming company. You can see Josh's mic is from SteelSeries there in the background. And they developed that technology, and we've embedded it into EngageAI. Last but not least, I want to tell you, coming down the road, so this is EngageAI 1.0. We are going to be evolving into EngageAI 2.0. It's still a little too soon for me to tell you too much about it, but I can give you a snapshot that we are going to be incorporating generative AI and NLP into our software. What that is going to entail in a nutshell, very high level, is we are going to be able to listen to the words you say and summarize those into a nice, clean summaries, not unlike Copilot, things like that, but it will be for any audio call. And then you can one-click, cut and paste, and send it to whatever platform you want. Here at Jabra, it would be a CRM system. We would put it into our CRM and boom, no need for typing notes, no need for any of that. That's coming next. And then, of course, we will be doing text-based sentiment analysis with tone-based sentiment analysis, combining the data points in the middle to give you an even more accurate sentiment score. And so with that, that concludes my presentation. So thank you very much. And I will open the floor to any questions. And again, I hope I can answer them, but if I can't, I promise to get you an answer.
We got Will has dropped a couple questions in here.
Okay,
actually.
cool, great.
Question 1: does this tap into voice isolation like Microsoft and use a recording of the voice?
It does not record the voice. No, so it's done differently. There's no call recording whatsoever done. Okay, so
perfect.
Yeah, I don't pretend, Josh, to understand exactly how that tech works, but I know that we do not record the voice at all at any point in time.
Question 2: if you are using Teams/Zoom audio isolation, do you have to turn it off in order to not have them fighting over each other's software?
It certainly is preferred. And that's my own personal experience. Yes, to turn it off and use it. So you actually set ClearSpeech as your device in Teams. We do not hook into Zoom yet, Will. So we do not have a hook for Zoom yet. But Teams, you set it as a device just like you would with your headset. It's called ClearSpeech, and that's how it works. And in my experience, it does work a little bit better, but I don't think it's required.
Awesome. And the last thing we had in there from Phil was just some awesome commentary on our voice isolation, noise cancellation capabilities as he works alongside noisy environments, and his coworkers are unaware of the noise going on in the background because
the noise canceling headset. I'm still amazed by it. That's true. And I will let you know, Phil, and I should say this, is that this software will work with any maker model of headset, even our competitor's headset. That's with the exception of those 3 little asterisks, those 3 little data points I said that are dependent upon a chip-based headset that is exclusive to Jabra. We're the only company in the world that make a chip-based headset. We would expect our competitors to follow down the road as it becomes more and more common for AI applications on the back end. But right now, currently, those are the only 2 headsets in the world that have that. So I thought I should mention that this is not software that is unique to Jabra headsets. It will work. What it doesn't work well with is a speakerphone. It's not great with the speakerphone. In fact, when you're using a speakerphone, it will prompt you and it'll say, hey, we detect you're using a speakerphone. No sweat. It's fine. But if you have a corded headset, it will work even better.
It's good to have that up front, right? Okay, fair game. Now I know. Awesome. Any other questions or comments at this time? I think we got caught up there. All right, beautiful. I'm going to take over presenting really quick to give a little QR code for those of you out there if you feel so inclined to give a little bit of feedback on today's session. Both on the presentation, the topic, just the flow of this thing in general. If this is useful for you all, we'd love to know that. And if you got suggestions on future topics that you want to dive into, you can throw them in there. But yeah, this is our typical, please give us feedback. And do we have any more questions slide to wrap things up? So we'll put that out there one more time in case anyone has questions. Otherwise, we're gonna wrap a little early today, give you back some time, which is always a win in everybody's book, right? All right. Let's see, Richard. I might have missed it, but what about scenarios when the person with this technology isn't talking? What happens to the background audio on their end?
I'm not sure I 100% understand the question. What I might have missed scenarios when the person with this technology isn't talking. So I assume.
And Richard, if you want to clarify, we can take you off mute and let you clarify that way, or you can clarify in the text if you're more comfortable.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure I understand your question, Richard, so I hesitate to answer it because I have a feeling I'll embarrass myself.
And I have taken you off mute in case that's helpful to you.
I know a lot of times I'm on a call to a call center and the background noise at the center is so obnoxious and makes it difficult for me to even concentrate on what I'm trying to convey. So again, if the agents at the call center have this technology and they're quiet and listening to what I have to say, what happens to all their background noise?
I gotcha. Okay, so nothing as it pertains to our technology. Our technology is only for incoming audio, Richard. What is happening when you hear that background noise is that's a contact center not using a high enough quality noise canceling microphone. So that's hardware based. That's right here. And it is very common for large contact centers, especially outside of the US, to use a very low grade headsets. We're talking $5 knockoff headsets that you're hearing raw audio. You can hear the cubicle to the left and right. You could hear them 10 down. I feel your pain, but that's a direct result of a low quality contact center headset. So if they're using a proper contact center headset, like the ones that we sell here at Jabra, you shouldn't hear, you should hear less than 5% of background noise, almost none.
All right, to promote that they get Jabra headsets?
Jabra would be preferred. There's a few makes and models out there, but certainly Jabra is our preference. Yeah.
Thanks.
Especially with some of those analytics that you called out, right? You've got the two headsets in particular that are the ones qualified for that and beyond. But yeah, it's definitely a solution story, right? EngageAI is a piece of it. Having the right equipment, the right hardware is the other piece of it. So you want to make the right calls there. Good question. Appreciate you coming off mic or coming off mute and on camera. Good to see you.
Yeah, there's another one here. So generally speaking, do wired headsets and earbuds deliver better quality than Bluetooth, or is the technology pretty advanced these days? Yes, wired headsets are still the best. Okay, there's still no substitute for that wire. Although you are absolutely correct, the technology has gotten to the point where it's almost indistinguishable. Okay, so there's a number of wireless technologies. There's actually two. There's DECT and Bluetooth. DECT is the best of the two, and then Bluetooth would be second. But certainly over the last 15 years, huge advancements. But there is no replacement for a boom microphone and a wire still today. So if sound quality is your primary concern, that is still the best route to go. Would be an enterprise grade wired headset. And earbuds, it depends on the type of earbud. Transcription accuracy for like a consumer grade earbuds made by Apple is around 66% or so. So no, earbuds are not quite where they need to be, certainly not for a contact center. You sacrifice some sound quality when you're giving up the size, and you've got these earbuds. So earbuds are sort of in their own category. They've gotten good enough for a knowledge worker, but not where they need to be for the contact center.
And on that enterprise level, when it comes to the wireless options for headsets, DECT also offers a big step up on security for that connection as well.
Yep, security and range as well.
Yeah. Good questions. Very good. Awesome, and I've already seen a flurry of feedback emails come through. So thank you all for taking the time to do that. That's amazing.
Awesome.
Excellent. Ben, thank you for presenting today. Great presentation.
You, Josh.
It's cool for me to see what's new. So, and then everyone else, thank you for being here. Appreciate you taking the time. Stay tuned for 2.0. Some cool things on the horizon there. We'll have to have you back on, Ben, when it's time to talk about that.
Right on. Can't wait.
Nice.
Yep.
Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll
Bye,
see you
everybody.
next
Thank you
month.
very much.